Okay, Nicole, we got over 40 participants now. Shall we start?
Yeah, please, sure, go ahead. Thank you,
Okay,
thank you everybody for joining in. Thank you, Professor Chekovan, for being here. I understand you have a busy schedule.
All right, okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining together this special webinar on how to get published to top journals, a journey with Enago, which is organized by Nicole, Arya, the Manager Strategic Alliance, and her team from Enago. Chulalongkorn University and Enago have signed Memorandum of Understanding since June this year. Under this MOU, we are aiming to assist our researchers to prepare their manuscripts, not only in terms of quantities, but also quality as well. This event is an initial part of our collaboration between Chulalongkorn University and Enago. And I'm also looking forward to participating more activities in the near future. In fact, Enago arranging many interesting events quite often throughout the years. That's what I've been informed. The Office of Research Affairs will inform all of JULA's members every time via our LINE official account, Facebook, and also the website. For this webinar, I really wish all participants will enjoy learning and gaining experiences from Nicole and her team. We will reach our target together, particularly more quantity publication in the top ranked journals very soon. Finally, welcome you all again to the special webinar on how to get published in top journals, a journey with Enago. And thanks once again, Nicole, Arya, and her team from Enago for organizing this event. Now this stage is yours. Nicole, please.
Thank you, Professor Chakapan, for your kind words. And yes, we have signed a collaboration under which the Chulalongkorn authors, they have access to Enago services at a subsidized price. And not only that, what all we are organized throughout the year, we have several academic events which are accessible for Chulalongkorn authors at subsidized value, as well as free access is also there to scholarly resources. Now I'll be sharing my screen. Okay, give me a moment. Yeah. So I'll be sharing my screen, beginning with the presentation. The entire idea, I'll give you download on the best practices in academia, and also we'll talk about certain paradigm of research at Thailand. So screen is visible to all. Okay, so allow me to get started. So Enago primarily speaks about two most important aspects of STM publication industry. First comes the authors, those who put their years of work together in the form of manuscript, and then comes the quality that drives this publication industry in remarkable pattern. So considering these two, we have packaged our services together, and it gives me an immense pleasure to share certain best practices with you and help you how we can help you to get published in top tier journals under the partnership with Chulalongkorn University. So before we dive into details about the nitty-gritties of our partnership, let me talk about few aspects of the paradigm of research in Thailand. So Thailand has maintained 11th position amongst 33 Asiatic nations over the past few years now. There has been steady increase in the overall research output, published number of papers, but the position of Thailand remains the same. We are hoping for a better output this particular year, considering not many papers are getting published in medicine domain this year from Thailand. So on this particular slide, what we have observed is we have observed a remarkable increase of 20 folds in citable documents being produced in Thailand in comparison to the year 1996. When we calculate, we see that 30% of the documents which are being produced in Thailand, citable documents, are getting cited as well. 85% out of which is external citation, which is remarkable in itself. Around 40% of the research produced in Thailand is in open access journals. This factor can be a contributing factor over the years in receiving citations to academic articles produced in Thailand. Now, considering the subject area, most research field in Thailand is medicine. But recently, possibly due to pandemic and COVID situation, immunology and microbiology field is receiving a lot more citations. Next, yes. So on this particular slide, our team in Enago Academy has tried to collate all the best practices that should be adopted by the researcher while conducting the research. So the first thing that should be in the mind of the researcher is coming up with the novel idea that is unique in itself or possibly can advance the existing research, be it a negative result research or positive result, research result. Creating a robust study design according to the topic that you have selected. Of course, take an advice from your principal advisor. Avoid any unethical practices, especially and if any living form is involved in your research. Then comes the journal selection. Stay away from predatory journal. Make sure that the journal that you have selected has an authentic ISSN number along with the authentic editorial board. This will keep you away from the predatory journal. Next would be, good trick is to select the journal which is already you're referring in your research. This means that the topic that you have selected is already being published in the journal that you're going to publish in. So make sure you have a journal selected which is publishing in your very own topic. Read the recent publication of that particular journal. That will definitely be helpful. Match the aims and scope of your research with the journal aims and scope. That can be the best output. And then once the journal is selected, start writing the manuscript. Because you have a journal guidelines in place, you can start writing the manuscript. Avoid plagiarism at all costs. You need not to get the blacklisting from the journal. So check the similarity index before the submission goes through, and make sure the language and grammar is something that you're concentrating upon. Otherwise, also Enago is there to help you out in drafting your manuscript and submitting it to the right journal. Then comes submitting the manuscript. Although it sounds tempting to submit your paper to multiple journals, but please do not practice this, because on many occasions peer reviewers are overlapping with the journal. So you need not to end up in the same reviewer by submitting to the multiple journal. So make sure you're adopting a particular ethical guideline in place, which is submitting to one journal at a time, reading the journal guidelines, making sure what is the peer review cycle. Otherwise as well, you can humbly follow up with the journal editor to make sure you are keeping tabs on the timeline. Then make sure you're submitting all the referral documents also along with the original article. Finally, coming back to addressing the reviewer comments. Once the article is submitted to the journal and you're receiving reviewer comments, be humble while addressing the reviewer comments. Stay positive, and definitely this is a given, because peer reviewing situation is trying to contribute into your research. This is a third eye perspective. Although you know your research in and out, definitely, but peer reviewing stage can be a contributing factor, making your research ready for the target audience. This particular step is very much important. So be polite and respectful while you are addressing reviewer comments. And finally, once the article is accepted by the journal, a very important step which has become nowadays is promoting your research in order to receive the citations. So talk about your research on relevant platforms like Academia, ResearchGate, tag all your co-authors. Also talk to the research department in your very own university so that you can receive a good appearance or good flow from the university, your very own colleagues. So talk to your research department and make sure you're talking about the research, the topic in which you have published in the relevant domains. Next is this inverted pyramid shows Enago's journey with the author. First step is creating a good manuscript. Enago will be there to help you in submitting error-free manuscript. And then the peer reviewing stage is something which happens at the journal end. Once the reviewer comments are received by the journal, Enago can definitely be there to help you in addressing those comments properly. Also, the additions that you have made post the comments from the peer reviewer, these additions can also be checked by Enago without any additional cost if you are using a premium support from Enago, that is the substantive editing. Let's say in this particular stage, if the journal A happens to say that you should submit to journal B, Enago can reformat your paper as per the journal B guidelines, considering this happens on many occasions. So Enago will be there with you till the time you're getting published. Now, the brief introduction about Enago. We were formed in the year 2005 and we started our operations from Japan by helping the Japanese scientists to overcome the language barrier and get published in high impact factor journals. As on date, I can proudly say we are the leaders in Japan, Korea, and many other Asian nations. On the other hand side, you can see we are also members of many STM organizations. For example, COPE, that is the Committee of Publication Ethics. So what we do at Enago completely abides by the international standards of publication. We are from this industry and we know this industry from the past 15 years now. This is the global distribution of our offices. We are headquartered at USA. We are in Canada, Colombia, Brazil, Turkey, UK, Germany, Kuwait, India, China, Russia, Korea, Japan, and Taiwan. Before the pandemic days, we definitely used to travel to a partnered university. I myself have been to Thailand on several occasions. I hope once the pandemic boils down, we can come to Thailand and present this particular presentation along with the publication expert at Chulalongkorn University as well. Now, as I told you that we work with individual researchers and we work with the university, just to keep the numbers, we work with around 500 plus universities all across the globe. We also work with world-renowned publishers. So the partnership with these publishers works in two formats, be it pre-submission, which is where the publishers recommend Enago services before the submission goes through, before the manuscript is submitted to the journal, or a second stage where post-acceptance basis, where the authors, the articles are sent to Enago for checking in terms of whether the readiness is for international publication is there or not. This format of collaboration happens with world-renowned publishers like Elsevier, Weil AI EEE, TEMA, Royal Society of Chemistry, Bristol University Press, Future Medicine, etc. The recent addition to this particular list was Oxford University Press. Now, on the middle section, you can see many such organizations, those are not directly conducting research, but they definitely see that Enago is bringing a good value in terms of international, enhancing the institution's research output. That's the reason they recommend Enago services to their members. Many such organizations are QS, the ranking organization you must be familiar of, and CURA, that is the National Council of University Research Administrators, headquartered at USA. IFCU, that is the International Federation of Catholic University, headquartered in France, and ASCUN, that is the Association of Columbian University, headquartered in Colombia. So all these organizations, as I said, they identify that Enago is bringing on board years of experience of helping the author community, and that's the reason they recommend Enago services to their members. Now, what Enago does can be categorized into three. So this is the broad categorization. First is the manuscript preparation by academic editing, by scientific editing and formatting service. Second is the author education initiative, under which we have scholarly articles. We conduct webinars on the monthly basis, which are free for the Chulalongkorn authors to attend. And finally, the training programs that we have in place. So this kind of initiative ensure that we are providing holistic platform for the researchers to develop in their research academic career. And finally, there is extended support available, which goes over and beyond just editing. Make sure you have a right journal in place. Also, the pre-submission peer review, I'll explain in the later part of my slide. Now, the first editing level is the language check. Over here, let's say if the author is already confident about the language and grammar aspect of the paper, all they need is a brief proofreading of the manuscript. They can go for language check support. Now, this particular service is available at 0.025 per word. That is $25 per 1,000 words. Now, these are the pricing after considering institutional discount, especially for the Chulalongkorn authors. Now, finally, the copy editing service, which is a notch higher than language check service. Under this, Once you submit your paper to Enago, it is checked twice. First, by the subject matter expert in your very own domain, and second, by the language expert. So this two-time check will ensure that the quality which is finally going to the journal is flawless in nature. It is very important for the editor who understand the terminologies that you have used in your manuscript to work on your manuscript. Otherwise, the changes which will be brought in will not be constructive to the entire essence of the research that you're conducting. And finally, this is what we are concentrating upon, making sure that the right editor works on the right manuscript. Then comes the journal formatting. If you have a journal in mind, we can format the paper accordingly under copy editing support. And finally, the certificate of editing will be provided by our experts under copy editing service. Now, this particular service is available at 0.036 per word, that is $36 per 1,000 words. Now, the premium most support of ours, we call it substantive editing. Under this, once you submit your paper to Enago, the subject matter expert will look into the manuscript from the logical flow point of view. The story that you're trying to convey to the editor-in-chief of a particular journal should be holding enough. It should be intriguing. All these aspects are concentrated upon under substantive editing, and editor will make sure, let's say if there is any missing point or ambiguity between the two statements, this is highlighted to the author before it goes to the journal, and then the presentation and content enhancement is done accordingly. And finally, the compelling part of your paper, that is the cover letter, will be provided under substantive editing, free of cost in the, substantive editing. And then the best feature of this particular service, I'd say, is Edit Unlimited. Under this, the author is insured for 365 days. So we understand that not every paper will be accepted by the journal right away. There will be a back and forth process where the journal happens to comment on certain part of the manuscript, which author has to incorporate those changes. These changes, again, can be checked by Enago without any additional cost under substantive editing. This is how this service has been packaged after considering the author's journey through the publication. And then this price, this particular service is priced at 0.058 per word, that is $58 per 1,000 words. Now, this particular slide showcases difference in all three service levels and their pricing, so that author can make a right decision according to their requirement as well as the budget. So all this pricing is available at www.enago.com/univ/Chulalongkorn. If you want to check it out, please check it out. Then there is extended support, which I said there are certain pre-submission services which we have collated together considering our experience. First comes the journal selection. Let's say if the author is confused about which journal to aim for, our experts can go through the manuscript and on the basis of certain predefined parameters like which database you are aiming, or possibly what is the speed of publication that you're looking. Are you looking for the open access journal or the subscription-based journal? So all these aspects are taken into consideration before suggesting you top 5 journal, along with a proper explanation that why we are suggesting you these particular journal. Then there is plagiarism check service. If the author would like to identify the similarity index, because you don't want to submit your article along with the plagiarized content, be it self-plagiarism or unintended plagiarism for that matter. So we use the tool called Authenticate in order to identify the similarity index. And then there is pre-submission peer review service, which is a mock peer review before the final peer review, so that our experts will be doing the constructive criticism of the manuscript in order to make sure that if there is any scope of improvement in the entire article, it can be taken care of before the article goes for the final peer review stage. And then the manuscript submission, we can submit the article on the behalf of the author. So all these services are there, are listed at Chulalongkorn website at the co-branded platform, which I spoke about. You can use the special code that is PS20 in order to gain 20% discount on these services, specifically which are extended support. And finally, the Enago webinars. As I said, we conduct monthly webinars which are free for the authors to attend from our partnered university. And these topics are very interesting. I'll definitely show you in the later stage. Now, how we have been maintaining the quality, we conduct monthly audits. Each and every article that we deliver, we always ask for the feedback. So let's say if there is any scope of improvement in the services or the quality of the editing that we have conducted, the authors can provide us the feedback simultaneously, and we are continuously improving. Due to this, we have maintained the quality satisfaction ratio of 99.4%. Our repeat client ratio falls between 77 to 85%. So this showcases that authors are trusting us over the years. And the team that has made this quality possible is our editors. They're the native English speakers from USA, UK, Canada, Australia. They're the peer reviewers for many reputed journals. They're themselves published authors. They know what it takes to get published. Their average on English editing experience is 19.4 years. So these are the professionals, those who will be putting their experience forward in helping you get published. These are the editors who are certified by world-renowned organizations such as Bell's, ISMT, just an example. Now, how is Enago different from rest of the offering? First and foremost is the specialized subject area matching. While I was talking earlier about the understanding the terminologies, let me give you a quick example to demonstrate how we concentrate upon matching the right editor to the right manuscript. Let's say the article is in the field of medicine. The subject is dentistry. The further specialization is oral dentistry. Enago will make sure that the expert from the oral dentistry field should work on your paper. This is how we dig deep in order to match the right editor to the right manuscript, so that whatever changes they are bringing in your manuscript are constructive to the essence of overall research. And finally, the two editor system. As I said, we have two editors in place so that if, let's say, any ambiguity is left by the first editor could be raised by the second editor. Two-time check will ensure that the quality which is finally going to the journal is flawless in nature. And finally, the edit unlimited feature. I've already explained in the substantive editing, you can have multiple rounds of check with Enago if you have used substantive editing, so that we are walking along with you in your path of publication journey. And finally, the Enago promise, which showcases that we are taking 100% guarantee of the language, be it any level of support that you have chosen with Enago. If journal happens to comment on the language, we'll rework on the article till the time the journal is satisfied. This is how we cover you from every aspect. Now, the team that has been creating the knowledgeable articles and the scholarly resources for the authors is Enago Academy. This is the knowledge arm of Enago. As I said, they create articles, they create podcasts, webinars on a monthly basis, which are free for the authors to access. Do check out their website. It is really very interesting. Now, this is the website that I've been talking about. Before we dive into this, allow me to share a small video with you, which is a reiteration of what I have covered during the presentation. I hope you all can hear it.
Do you have a research paper? Want to publish it in an international journal and be famous? But are you worried about journal rejection? Don't be. Enago's author services are designed to make your paper publication ready. Our mission is author first, quality first. Nothing else matters more to us. We offer 2 levels of editing to address all academic writing and publishing needs of researchers. Our copy editing service makes your paper meet all journal requirements for grammar, formatting, technical accuracy, style, and consistency. Papers submitted to this service are returned free from all such errors. But if you want a lot more than this, our substantive editing service is exactly what you need. Wondering what more does it offer? It improves the logical flow and structure of your paper. It enhances the content to fix any gaps that may exist in the paper. You also get Rejection Shield, which means we edit your paper even after you receive your journal's feedback. We edit responses to reviewer queries, write a cover letter, and edit content added by you. In short, we offer you complete peace of mind. No matter what service you choose, remember the Enago promise. We promise you that your manuscript will never be rejected because of language. Need more? Wait, we've just gotten started. You need re-editing. No problem. Our Edit Unlimited support offers free editing unlimited number of times till you're satisfied. You have questions for our editors? Bring them on. We won't charge you a penny. You need a cover letter too? Why not? We'll make one that will make your research shine. You need a certificate as proof of editing. You'll have it in your inbox. The result of all of this, publication success.
So as I said, this video was to reiterate what I've already covered. So allow me to share my screen once again, and I'll be walking you through the platform which is specifically meant for Chulalongkorn authors. Give me a moment. One second. Yes, so this is the website that I spoke about, enago.com/univ/Chulalongkorn. On the front page, you can see the services that I've already explained to you during my presentation. Now, next page is about the scholarly resources. As I said, over here, you can access the articles on academic writing, publication stages, and industry news. These articles are directly fetched from Enago Academy website, and they are updated on the fortnightly basis. So you can read accordingly. It will take a while for the articles to populate. And finally, the webinar section. This webinar section ensures that you are getting the information about the upcoming webinars and also the webinars, the repository of all the past webinars that we have conducted. Yes, so over here, you can see that we conduct webinars in English, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, and Spanish. You can put up the filter of English and make sure you're registering to the event, to the already recorded webinar and attending the webinar. Otherwise, also, you can leave the questions and our team will be getting back to you with the answers. The upcoming webinar is on the common English translation mistakes on academic writing, tips, tricks, and tools. So this will be conducted on 20th of October. You can attend this simply from clicking the webinar section. And now, how to use the services? Simply click on Submit Now button. You will be routed to this simple quotation page over here. You can just leave your email ID and upload your article, select the level of service. What we do is we conduct webinars on the monthly, we edit 1,000 words a day. So let's say if your manuscript is of 5,000 words, we'll return back to you paper within the next 5 days. The premium option is also available, but it is highly priced. So you can make the selection accordingly. If there is anything urgent, you can make the selection. Otherwise, go for the standard option of 5 days delivery. So that's all from my end. I'll be sharing the screen once again, just to finish off the presentation. And then we can go ahead with the questions. So we have already been through this particular platform, and that's all. Thank you, everyone. You can record this information, and I'll be opening the floor for questions now. Please go ahead. So we have a few questions already.
Okay, thank you very much, Nicole. Just before I leave this talk, I just like to ask for the one question.
Yes, please.
At the moment, how many manuscripts have been submitted to Enago from Chulalongkorn University? And have you think about the success rate of submission? I mean, for accept to the journal.
So the cycle of submission and acceptance and the editing. So editing is one stage, then goes the submission, and then the peer review happens. It will take 2 months or so, and then finally the results of whether the article has been accepted or not will be coming in. So what we do is we conduct a survey at the end of the year on all the articles that we have, submitted or edited, and the success rate is driven from that particular number. So presently from Chulalongkorn, we have worked around 50 odd articles, just to put the number. And as I said, we ask for regular feedbacks. At the moment, what feedbacks we have been receiving are really good and really encouraging in terms of the work we have conducted. We have many repeat authors, those who are coming with different manuscript to us. So this showcases that yes, the authors are liking our services. And otherwise, about the success rate that you asked, We conduct this survey at the end of the year. I'll also share with you the results for Chulalongkorn University. What we find out from the other surveys that we have conducted so far, that the university has observed around 30 to 40% hike in overall acceptance rate after using Enago services.
All right. Okay, thank you very much.
You're most welcome, and thank you so much.
I have to apologize. I have to leave earlier, and perhaps we can get some more questions from the participant. I think our staff can help.
Yes, please.
Any more questions, please?
Yes, we have a question. If I choose the copy editing and my paper get accepted, after responding to the reviewers, will Enago provide the re-editing? So let's say if you have used copy editing service and you have made certain changes on the paper after considering the reviewer comments, in that case, what will happen? If you will provide Enago, again, the manuscript to work upon, what we'll do is we will charge you only for that edit content, not for the entire manuscript, because entire manuscript has been already worked by Enago under copy editing. The cost will be pretty much nominal considering the number of words. But if you have used substantive editing, these changes can also be checked by Enago without any additional cost. So that's the difference between the two services. Okay, next question. How long does it take to publish with Enago? See, the publication journey or the acceptance journey depends on the journal that you have selected. It is always on the journal that what is their peer review cycle. Let's say if the peer review cycle is of 2 months, then the answer will be received accordingly. And it's not, a written that, let's say after first review, peer review, the answer will be received, yes, accepted, not accepted. It can take a while for the authors to receive the concrete response from the journal, because there will be instances where the journal will ask you to make minor revisions or major revisions, on the basis of which, again, the peer review will check your paper, and then again, you're receiving comments whether the article has been accepted or again, there are revisions. So it completely depends on the journal. While Enago can help you out in the case, whatever editions that the journal is recommending, if the journal happens to say that submit your paper to B journal, then we can reformat the paper as per the B journal guidelines. So this is how Enago can be there for the support and through the entire publication journey. So that's, I hope I have answered the questions. Are there any more questions? Please feel free to ask. Just in case, okay, I'm leaving my details on the website also of Chulalongkorn University so that you can go through it and check accordingly. So I'm leaving that information in the chat box. Are there any more questions? Please feel free to raise your hand or leave a question in Q&A box. Okay, so we have one more question. What is rejection shield? The rejection shield is an support which is available under substantive editing, which goes over and beyond simple edit unlimited feature. Now, in this case, what happens? We cover more than 30% of the changes along with the responses to the reviewer comments. Let's say you want us to check the responses to the reviewers, reformatting. It's a comprehensive support under substantive editing, which is priced at 0.03 per word under substantive editing. So if you check in the box that yes, you would like to use avail rejection shield as well, we'll be covering you from reviewer comments aspect and the changes aspects as well. So that is what rejection shield stands for. It's a comprehensive support. Just in case you would like us to edit your the answers to review, whether they are to the point, whether they are too wordy or not, these kind of things are concentrated upon. Okay, do we have more questions? If you have a question in Thai also, please feel free to ask. We have our colleagues who can help us out. Any question from the panelists?
So it seems like Mr. Adamu Ahmad raised his hand.
Yes. So do we have a question?
Okay, we have more question in the Q&A.
Yes. What if the journal reject the manuscript straight? How the rejection shield will apply? So in that case, rejection shield will help you in submitting to the journal, next journal that you are going to aim. Let's say you would like us to rework on the paper. See, any time and on any occasions, if the journal happens to reject the paper on certain grounds, then you will definitely make certain changes according to that journal advice and before you're submitting to the next journal, so that this stage of journal acceptance or journal review is improving the quality of your paper. So rejection shield will cover you from that particular aspect, whatever changes you're incorporating as per the journal, whatever reviewer, whatever formatting guidelines that again you have to reformat your paper. All these aspects will be cared upon, and the rejection shield can help you in that case. Yeah, so I hope I've answered that question. Are there any more questions? Otherwise, as well, I have left my information in the chat box, and I'll also share this presentation with my colleagues, and you can definitely see, watch the presentation anytime. I hope we can conduct more such sessions, more such interactive session in the future. Any more questions? We'll hold the board for a while now.
I have a question on Facebook.
Yes, please. Can you please tell us what is the question?
How can we know about predatory journal?
Predatory journal. So
Yes.
It's a wholesome topic. In fact, there is a presentation, there is a wholesome training session that we conduct on identifying the predatory journals. But a few pointers that I can share over here with you is, make sure that the journal has an authentic editorial board with the person's information. Let's say the editor-chief or the journal editor credentials are also there, which university they are from, what is their position in that particular university, and what is their specialty. All this information should be present on the journal website, along with the ISSN number, which authentifies that, yes. You can also check the Bell's list. It was last updated in 2019, if I'm not wrong. So you can also check whether the journal name is present in the Bell's list or not. That's the open platform where you can identify the predatory journal. And also, if the journal happens to have a very small peer review cycle or nothing at all, then definitely there is an alarm that you should definitely raise. There is a flag that you should understand that this journal will definitely ask for the money in return of publication, but it's not an authentic journal because they are not contributing to the overall research by having a good peer reviewing cycle in place. So that's few pointers. Otherwise, as I said, there is a wholesome session. You can also attend a webinar. We have already conducted a webinar on predatory journal identification. Do we have more questions? Okay. So wait a second, let me check. Yes. So you can talk now. You can unmute yourself and you can ask a question, Mr. Ahmed.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, my name is Adamu. Yes, I'm a PhD candidate at Chulalongkorn University.
Mm-hmm.
And we are just starting the journey. So
Right.
my question is on how to use maybe other writing tools like the EndNote and the use of the Turnitin for the plagiarism checking. So I don't know if you have maybe upcoming workshops for such tools, EndNote and plagiarism checking using Turnitin.
Well, this kind of question, this is an academic question. As I said, this might be, what we can do is our Enago Academy team can get back to you with the comprehensive answer, but definitely, as you said, there is a different session altogether which can talk about the tools that can help you to advance or write your research paper. Can be EndNote, can be other tools which can be helpful about increasing the citations and also the writing tools. So there is another session which is on the subject, but I can take this question for the time being, and our team in Enago Academy can help you in the comprehensive answer. Okay, Turnitin and EndNote is the question that you had, right?
Thank you.
No problem. Do we have any more questions pertaining to service, pertaining to the timelines? Okay, we'll get back to you with the answer, Mr. Admu, about the EndNote and Turnitin usage. Anything else that we can help you with? Any question on the Facebook?
No, we don't have a question.
Okay, then. Okay, at this note, I'd like to thank everybody who attended this webinar. I understand you have a very busy schedule, jumping on Zoom meetings. Please take care of yourself, stay safe, and hopefully we can come to Chulalongkorn University real soon. Thank you, colleagues from Chulalongkorn University, for making this possible. I humbly thank Professor Chakapan as well for giving us this opportunity. Thank you so much. Stay safe.
Thank you, Nicole.
Take care. Bye-bye.